cool! You're listening to the 7th episode of Green Plug E-Cycle UAE, which is a social awareness campaign on e-waste management and the future sustainability of the vibrant nation, the United Arab Emirates. Here I am at the sustainable city, which is voted one of the happiest communities in the GCC. The city that has incorporated 3 aspects of sustainability that are social, economical and environmental development, what makes the city fully sustainable. And with me here joins the lady expert of the city, Ms.Lizelle Maistry, the sustainability officer here at Sustainable City. Hello Lizelle.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Green Plug podcast interview. And can you just brief some personal...
Okay, my name is Ms.Lizelle Maistry. I am the Sustainability Officer here at the Sustainable City Dubai. I have a background in environmental science and environmental management, and I've been in the Sustainable City for a year now.
Great. So shall I start the questions formally? So the development of smart cities also improves people's lives and can make people happier. How was the sustainable city concept developed from the developer's point of view?
Okay, so the Sustainable City was developed in response to the 2008 to 2010 financial crisis. So the diamond developers, the CEO, he looked at different aspects of sustainability around the world, looking at places like Fujisawa, looking at the Eden Project in the UK, looking at UC Davis. So looking at all these different kinds of concepts and thought, how can we bring this under one platform? How can we make it work for the UAE? So that's how Sustainable City came to be. It came to be out of inspiration, the need to innovate and to achieve sustainable development, to move towards that greener, cleaner future for the UAE. And I think that's the goal of Sustainable City, and it is one of its kind.
Okay. Can you please explain some of the main interesting factors that are followed in the role model houses and at the city as a whole for reducing the carbon footprints and thus paving the way to net zero energy development?
Okay, so the 2 factors that we focus on a lot here is reducing our energy demand. So we do that by having solar electricity that we produce, and also by demand side management that involves passive and active methods. So we can, for one, solar panels, that's quite an obvious one. We're generating electricity, we're not relying on the grid as much. And the second, which is demand side management, we have a variety of features of the actual building that help us to be energy efficient. That includes UV reflective paint on the outside of the walls, double glazed windows. It involves the orientation of the actual villa. So all these different techniques were put together. So that's one of the things that I admire most about Sustainable City is it's not just a normal development. Things were thought out from the very beginning. So if we orientate our buildings north, we're avoiding the sun getting into our windows. Yes, exactly. So if we can avoid that, our buildings are cooler. If our buildings are cooler, we have less air conditioning needs. And that's majority of our needs during summer is our air conditioning. So we are able to reduce our energy needs significantly.
Okay, right from the start. Okay, well, so what about the city's best practices in waste segregation and recycling?
Okay, so in Sustainable City, we have 16 waste sorting bins located in each cluster. So altogether, we also have bins located in the plaza. This provides the opportunity for people to separate their waste at the source. So if you have the opportunity to do it, people are more likely to separate their waste. So like I said, these 16 bins located in each cluster, and bins separate into plastic, paper and cardboard, metals, and then general waste. We also look at waste in the organic sense, so our food waste, our organic waste, we can use that and we can compost that. So Tadweer is the company that we use, it's the recycling company we use that collects our waste, and they've already been separated into different segments. So additional to that, we have e-waste, electronic waste. So Tadweer also collects that. We used to have 2 projects that we had here in Sustainable City related to e-waste. People would come and drop off their electronics. The company would either refurbish them to sell them and generate a profit from this. This profit was then used for developing of care food packages, and this was distributed to some African nations. That was one of our projects that we had. Another one that we're looking at having in Sustainable City is called eFate. This is also a platform for recycling and reusing in electronic waste, e-waste.
Okay, thank you so much. So the happy community here, which is one of its kind, has gone a far way ahead in creating a global example. What are the major challenges faced to maintain these best practices in this challenging desert environment, and how it has been overcome?
So I would say that a few of the main environmental challenges here are the heat, of course, which is number one. I would say it's dust, and I would also say it's water. It's rainwater, because when it rains, it really pours in Dubai. So we have to have different methods of capturing that water, which is extremely precious. So why waste it? Why have runoff, right? When we can have we can have opportunities to collect that water and have it seep into the ground.
Yeah, especially the interlock.
Yes, interlock pavement. So we have a few features, includes bioswales, the interlock pavement like we spoke about, and also the green spine. So the green spine, which runs the length of the city, it's underneath all of that vegetation is channels, water channels that help to absorb the water and keep it into the ground. And then along the perimeter of the site we have bioswales. The bioswales are topped with zeolite. This helps to absorb water into the soil. And then lastly, we spoke about interlock, which is permeable, allows the water to drain in, avoiding runoff, avoiding flooding in the city. So that is targeting water. In terms of heat is another significant environmental factor that we face here in Dubai, and even in Sustainable City, how are we able to have lush green vegetation even in the peak of summer? So we can reuse water, right? We can be more efficient with our water needs, and we also have lake that is where we store treated sewage effluent. This treated sewage effluent is used for irrigation of our non-productive landscaping. This helps us to keep everything green and looking good even during summer when it's extremely hot. Yes, exactly. And a lot of vegetation does die off during these periods of time, but we're also fortunate enough to pilot projects like Alaska Life. So Alaska Life is a 40 square foot shipping container. In this shipping container, we're able to use vertical farming, and it's actually a hydroponic system. So we can plant because we can control the conditions, we can plant during any season. We control the temperature, the humidity, the light, and the temperature in there. I said temperature, yeah. So we're able to control all these factors. That means that we can farm during any time of the year. This is technology that we want to make more prominent in the city. Alaska Life was one of them. We did have another company called Agricool. They were producing strawberries, which was quite interesting. They produced apparently some of the most amazing strawberries that we've tasted here in Sustainable City. I didn't get the opportunity to taste them, unfortunately. But if you can control these conditions, you can really grow anything, and you can grow them whenever you want. So this is moving forward in agri-tech and moving forward in urban farming.
Sounds great. And I've heard some interesting facts about the electricity charges at homes over here, and especially during winter season, it turns out to be almost nil. Can you please explain to us a few other features like this at the Sustainable City? That sounds more interesting.
Yes, this is true. Sometimes during the month you can end up with the zero bill. This is because your energy needs are much lower during certain times of the year, especially during winter. You're not having as much energy needs in terms of your air conditioning. So overall, your energy demand will be lower. Energy demands already decreased by the actual design of the building as well. So this helps to reduce our energy demand. In terms of other interesting features of Sustainable City, you don't pay a maintenance charge, which I find interesting. Maintenance is free of charge, so whatever needs to be done will be done by a Diamonds team. How do we offset this though? We look at the restaurants, the facilities that we have here in the Sustainable Plaza. All of these generated income, so the residents support this, and we can support
even the
them
biodomes. They produce even the biodomes. No, they produce for the whole community the vegetation throughout.
Yes, so the biodomes produce a variety of herbs and vegetables, and in these biodomes we have a company called Leaves and More that helps to maintain them. residents are get 8 vouchers a month, and they're able to redeem whichever herb or vegetable that they desire.
That sounds great. So, what are the future plans and projects in a sustainable city?
So, Sustainable City Dubai is the first of its kind, but like I said, it's not the last. So, we're currently under construction in Sharjah. We have Sharjah Sustainable City. That is going to be a much larger development, around 1,250 to 1,300 villas that are going to be developed there, which is almost 3 times the size of Sustainable City Dubai. We also have in the pipeline projects in Abu Dhabi, Oman, and Jordan. So all of these different areas will also have sustainable cities, but we will specify it for each region. So each region has different requirements. So it's not really a copy and paste concept. Yes, the idea is similar, that we can adapt it, but like I said, it needs to be adapted for each region that it's in.
Okay, you were speaking about the new sustainable city project that's coming up in Sharjah. So it is much more bigger than that over here. So can you please explain a little more about the Sharjah sustainable city?
Okay, so Sharjah Sustainable City is also going to be working on the same principles, as in using solar power and having a central green spine. So it'll have a lot of the same concepts that Dubai has. It'll just be adapted for Sharjah and for a larger plot of area. So like I said, Dubai is 500 villas, but Sharjah will be around 1,300 villas. So much larger development. It also has a different target market. So with the different target market comes in different requirements from the community. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration, and we're still in the construction phase. So in time, I'm not sure of the exact date of completion, but we're looking forward to that.
Okay, soon we'll be coming to know more about Sharjah Sustainable City. So, what message can you give to our global listeners and especially to UAE residents from your expertise in the field of sustainability for a green life?
I would say, if I could give any type of advice, I would say would be to live locally and reduce your demand. Reduce your demand not just for energy, reduce your demand for water, for goods and services, for all of our needs. Because if we can reduce our overall demand, we're reducing our overall carbon footprint. So if we can do that, then we're heading in the right direction, I think. And it all starts with us, because as consumers, we're the biggest drive of change. If we decide we don't want something, or if we decide to make a change, then the government will follow suit. So I would say to live locally as well, and that's what Dubai Sustainable City is about. It's about living locally. You live where you work, where your kids go to school, where you can shop, where you can access facilities, clinics, important facilities as well. So that is part of living locally. Yes, I would say living locally and reducing our overall demand, including transport.
That was great. Thank you, Ms.Lizelle, and I express my gratitude for giving me this opportunity for being with you here at Sustainable City. Your presence and gentle words will be surely a source of encouragement for all of us.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Sustainability is not merely a word for UAE, as it had proven globally an example for all nations worldwide. It is the dream of the UAE leaders and the great visionary leader, His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. It was him who took UAE's environmental priorities that were spelled out and planned. UAE, a country of persistence and tolerance, managed to turn its desert land into a green oasis and successfully overcame all the challenges such as limited water resources, hot climate, and arid land, all because of the hard work of a nation and its citizens for a brighter, greener future. It will be hard to believe your eyes for someone who comes from other country to see all these greens in UAE very well maintained throughout the year. According to UAE National Agenda and the UAE Vision 2021, more effort should be spent to ensure sustainable development while preserving the environment and to achieve a perfect balance between economic, social development. With the looming challenges of sustainability, humankind is facing unprecedented and highly complex problems. The ever-increasing global population needs more resources, but most resources are limited and exploiting them has consequences. Are we therefore ready for the challenges that await ahead? As one of the world's favorite destinations, the UAE features some of the most stunning landscapes and beautiful natural attractions in the region. We are dedicated to developing low-impact, eco-friendly tourism across the country, so visitors can take in the natural majesty that stretches across the country while leaving the landscape pristine and untouched. And as mentioned by Ms.Lizelle before, there is another city of the kind which is much bigger coming up in Sharjah, the Sharjah Sustainable City in a short time, where the first phase is already completed. Sharjah Sustainable City, a Sharjah Investment and Development Authority Shuruk joint venture with the diamond developers, which is again another world-class experience of green living with 1,120 zero-energy homes. Coming back to the experience in the sustainable city, there are much more interesting facts where they utilize and convert even the energy worked out in the gym by the residents. And the biodomes provide 8 pots of greens for each resident every month. Here they live nature at its best by leaving the plants and trees to grow on its own. And we can see a future community here where even the smaller kids are really aware and taking care of the nature around them by disposing the waste in the designated bins and feeding the rescued animals there at the petting farm, where they are truly growing in the lap of nature. Here, the RTA bus stations are given priority right at the start so as to promote public transportation for the workers who are traveling in and out of the city. And the main feature, the solar panels, which are the main pillars for the zero energy concept, are installed on almost all the rooftops and car parkings. There are charging stations everywhere so that people can easily get access to them. The residents, whoever is 14 years and above, may use the electric buddies once they get the license for driving them around. Another important feature here is that the treated clean sewage water, which is used for all the plants and trees around the city. In the city, each tree has a purpose and each residents are very well adapted and enjoys the nature at its best over here. And this is why it has been rated as the happiest community in the GCC for 3 years in a row, as every blade of grass embraces the nature happily. The serene and tranquil atmosphere are worth experiencing for all nature lovers. Regardless of where you live and whether you have decided to go green to help the environment, to save money, or just see how easy it is, every step you take towards eco-friendly living is one that helps the world. If you're just starting out and want some sustainable living ideas, then here are some couple to get you started. Step 1. Turn it off. Energy conservation is one of the most important things you can do to reduce your carbon footprint. Leaving your electricals on standby needlessly uses up energy. Hit the off switch and you could see huge improvements, most noticeably in your energy bills. Step 2. Invest in eco-friendly technology. Want to go further than simply turning it off? Make sure that the tech you have got is as energy efficient as possible. This way, you're using much less energy for the time that the product is on, saving money and reducing your energy output. Step 3. Switch to renewables. Changing your energy supplier to one that's 100% renewable is a great eco-friendly tip for any home. Anyone can do it. Switching is simple and hassle-free. Plus, all the electricity you use when on 100% renewable tariff is effectively zero carbon. Step 5. Don't waste food. Waste not, want not. Wasting food isn't just a huge waste of only the eating stuff and money. It adds to the amount of carbon dioxide being created in the landfills. Step 6. Compost. If you have let your food go that little bit too far past its best buy, then you need to be sure to compost it rather than putting it in the bin. Not only will this help create a natural fertilizer and keep your garden green, it'll also reduce the amount of waste going to landfill. And as it won't break down anaerobically, there will not be a buildup of methane gas. Step 7. Recycle everything. Chances are that if you are thinking about taking on a more eco-friendly lifestyle, then you'll already be recycling. But could you improve your recycling ability? You can recycle almost everything, from batteries to paper to cars. Before you throw it away, take a minute to find out if you could recycle it instead. Step 8. Try to cut out plastic. Plastic seems to have found its way into every single aspect of our lives. However, giving it up isn't as difficult as you might think. Bring a canvas bag with you when you go shopping, but your fruit and veg loose and stop buying bottled water. Step 10. Insulate your home. Homes that are well insulated are much harder to keep warm when it's cold and cool when the weather is hot, as here in UAE. Insulating your home is one of the best eco-friendly tips for your home. Step 11. Have your food shop delivered. Home delivery is like the public transport of groceries. Instead of having 20 odd cars make their way to the supermarket, one van drives around delivering to everyone in the area. Additionally, it means you are less likely to impulse buy, which can help to reduce any waste food. Step 12. Fix it, don't throw it. Repairing or fixing something is more environmentally friendly than simply throwing things away, although the latter may seem easier and cheaper sometimes. The internet gives you access to the tools and information you need to fix practically anything, and if you still can't fix it, then why not try and turn it into something else? Like use your spare mobile as a GPS device in your car. Step 13. Use eco-friendly cleaning products. A lot of cleaning products have a lot of harmful chemicals in them that aren't environmentally friendly to create or dispose of. In fact, repeated exposure to these cleaning products can affect your health as well as the environment. Green cleaning products use more naturally and organic methods of cleaning which are far less harmful. Step 14. Reduce the drive. If you can make the journey by foot, bike or public transport, then do that. Driving, unless you are in an electric vehicle, isn't very eco-friendly and can really add to your carbon footprint. When you do have to drive, make sure that you get the most out of your vehicle by keeping the speed down, ensuring tires are properly inflated and that the engine is running smoothly. Step 15. Use your microwave. Honestly, you'd be surprised by how much more energy efficient microwaves are compared to conventional ovens. While you are already surprised, you may as well continue to be shocked with some of the awesome things you can cook in a microwave. Step 16. Buy local. From clothes to food, the closer to home these products are made and bought, the less carbon is created with their transportation. Not only that, but you'll be supporting the local economy, which means that in time you'll likely have an even more local items to choose from. Step 18. Grow your own. Growing your own veg isn't just a good way to save money, it's also a great way to cut down your carbon footprint and be eco-friendly. Don't have any outside space? Windowsill boxes are a great way to brighten up your view. Filter the air coming into your home and offer plenty of space for herbs and small vegetable patches. Step 19. Plant some trees. Ecological sustainability is very important when it comes to eco-friendly living. Without a stable ecosystem, things start to fall apart. Making sure that we are planting more native trees to replace those that have been felled to make room for development is something that more people and businesses need to do to protect the environment and improve air quality. Step 20. Choose your personal care wisely. Yes, when it comes to personal hygiene, there are several things you need to be careful to avoid for a truly eco-friendly lifestyle. The most damaging of these is microbeads, which are small bits of solid plastic which are biodegradable and make their way into watercourses and ultimately end up damaging the environment by entering the food chain. Make sure that your body wash, toothpaste, face scrub and other products do not contain these beads. In addition to this, avoiding chemicals and opting for natural cleaning products. These are only few ways on how you can reduce the carbon footprints by promoting a sustainable life. There are many more easy and simple methods that you may follow if you really care for nature and for your kids. Stay tuned for my next podcast and wishing you a greener and sustainable future. Thank you, listeners.